Okay, I'm recording on my beautiful new $10 selfie stick here, so I'll try to keep it from shaking too much, but we'll see how that goes. But today I wanted to discuss money and finances and financial stress, financial worry, and kind of our modern day grinding culture that we live in, and how to break free of that and to live a more peaceful life regardless of how much money you have. In our modern world today, we tend to constantly be thinking about improvement. And so when it comes to our material possessions and our living situations, we want to constantly be improving those. We want newer and better and nicer things. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But the problem comes in when we think that those things are all that is and all that matters. Now, of course, even if you haven't begun to wake up and you haven't begun to have your own spiritual realization yet, you still see that there's something deeper, right? Like, you still, as much as you want to acquire better material possessions and acquire more money and all that kind of stuff, you still see that, like, there's love and there's family and there's things that are deeper and more important. Everybody knows that when you get to your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about the house you had and the car you had. You're going to be thinking about your family and your loved ones, right? So everybody, regardless of your level of spiritual awakening yet or not, has some inner knowing that there's more to life than just physical material possessions. But we do live in a culture where, we're kind of force-fed this idea that you need to constantly be grinding, improving, constantly having newer and better and nicer things. If you see someone that you used to know, 5 or 10 years ago, and you talk to them and they ask you about where your life is and it's not much different or better than it was, in their minds you might be a failure or something like that. But the real question is, where does this mindset of grinding and gaining and money and more money and all this stuff come from? It comes from an idea that these things are what we need to be happy and content, and that if we eventually get that new thing and get that new car and get that new job and get that new house, then we'll be happy. But it's just simply not true. It's not true. Yeah, you'll get those things. You'll be happy for a minute. You'll be happy for a little while. But that happiness and that contentment, it wears off, and then you need more and more again. It's just a never-ending cycle. It's a cliche, of course, but I think it was Jim Carrey that said that everybody should become super rich and super famous so that they can realize it's not what's going to make them happy. And there's nothing wrong with working hard and making money and providing for your family and doing things like that. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But if you think that that's going to make you happy, consciously or not, I think for a lot of people it's unconscious. They just are working towards this vague whatever goal that they don't even really know what they're working towards. It's just working hard for something in the future that maybe will make them happy and content. But I'm here to tell you today that if you're out there grinding and just wearing yourself down to the bone, I really want you to stop and ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Because the truth is, right now, in this very moment that I'm speaking to you, whether you realize it or not, all of the happiness and joy and peace that you're looking for is right within you already. Like, you don't need to go out there and try to get it, try to work hard for something that will give it to you. You don't need to acquire something out there to get it for you. It's already within you. And the truth is, all of these physical things that we're trying to get, all of these houses and cars and phones and whatever it is that you're working for, vacations, anything, it's all springing out of and coming out of your awareness. And your awareness is unchanging. Your being within you is unchanging. It's perfect and pure, and it's always there, always accessible, because it's what you are. Spiritual enlightenment is not some mountaintop you need to reach. It's something that you have always, and that's there underneath you. And if you can just remember that and realize that, it really eliminates all of this stress that you have, financially or whatever, because the truth is, you realize that these things that are causing you stress or are causing stress to appear, they're not actually real. They're just manifestations of your consciousness. And so, the reason why at the end of our lives, the things that really mattered were our loved ones and our family is because the only things that are actually real to us are our consciousness and our awareness that we share with everyone, and that we really experience and get to have with one another. And that's what true love is. It's us really loving ourselves. It's not this like new age modern day thing of like love yourself. Like, what does that even mean when you think about it? Are you saying, oh, love yourself like your personality and appreciate your personality? Like, that's fine on a level, but you can go deeper than that. You can transcend that. You can transcend your personal physical self, which is only an illusion, and you can reach your true self, which is God, which is your awareness, and it's what you share with everyone. And so when you're in like a romantic relationship, right, and you have a partner and you're so madly, deeply in love with them, and when you're with them, you just feel like life is just beautiful and everything is transcended. And let me ask you a question. If you're really truly in love with someone, does it matter if you're on a vacation in Hawaii or if you're in a rainy downtown, not nice part of town, right? Like, yeah, the Hawaii, trip might be nice, but when you're truly in love, it doesn't matter where you are. And that's because when you're truly in love, that's just one way of experiencing transcending yourself. And so, if you're sitting there today and you're worried about money, and maybe you have bills that you're having trouble paying and things like that, I'm not saying that you're wrong to feel that. Those emotions are going to arise, whether you're quote unquote enlightened or not. The financial worry and things like that, and having to pay your bills and wanting to improve your life and go on vacations and stuff, that's all going to be there, and it's all going to happen. And I'm not trying to make you feel guilty for it, because those things happen here too. They experience within me too. So, I'm not trying to put you down, because we're all going to experience that. But the truth is, whether you can pay your bills or not, whether you have a nice house or a shitty house, whether you have a nice car or you ride your bike to work, it's all just manifestations of God. It's all just the play of consciousness playing out. And if you really truly abide within yourself, which is what we all can do, then it's all just fun. And this is something that I'm working on myself too, because I find myself having financial worries and worrying about, how am I going to do this? And, oh no, I didn't get enough hours at work, and what am I going to do, right? Those thoughts appear and those emotions arise, and it's what do you do with them? If you buy into them, if you invest in them, right? It's like the spiritual stock market. If you invest in those things, they're going to grow and they're going to take over. But if you can stay in yourself, if you can stay centered and truly stay present, because these what ifs about the future. You can't do anything about anything in the future. You can't change anything that might or might not happen. All you can do is have the situation in front of you and do what you can about it. And if you can't pay your bills, if you're able to truly stay centered in yourself, then you'll do what you can, you know. Some situations are fun and pleasant and some aren't, but ultimately when you stay rooted and centered in yourself, you know, on one level it doesn't really matter. You know, there's a story that Ram Dass used to talk about, that he would go to his guru and he would say that, you know, don't you see that there's people starving and there's all these horrible things happening in the world, and there's so much pain and anguish, and it's just all so hard and difficult, and there's so much misery and suffering out there. And his guru said to him, don't you see that it's all perfect? And on one level you might hear that and get completely enraged and be like, what do you mean it's perfect? Are you saying suffering's perfect and people struggling and having all these issues is perfect? No, of course not. We do what we can to rectify those things and to fix those things. And, you know, on one level, it's super painful and it's super hard. You know, we're not trying to deny that of you. But on the other level, it is all perfect, because it's all just an illusion. It's all empty phenomena rolling on, as Joseph Goldstein said. So today, if you're stressing out, if you're struggling, I just want you to remember to stay rooted in yourself, to be yourself, to remember that you are the one who sees. You aren't the thing that's being seen. You are the one who sees. And truthfully, the beautiful thing is that once you are able to kind of stop worrying about everything so much, that you're able to just kind of let life take over and just enjoy life and not fight everything so much, and not fight with life, and really accept things as they are. Of course, you know, do what you can to change them and improve them, that's fine, but really accept life as it is and as it comes. If you're able to do that, life has a way of taking care of you, and life has a way of working out. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. So that's all I really wanted to tell you today. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a while. My daughter's been sick, but she's getting better, thankfully. And, you know, that's been a whole spiritual process for me too. There's not much greater suffering in the world than, you know, watching your children suffer. And that's really just one of the highest forms of love, and the highest forms of realization is looking into the eyes of your child and seeing another part of yourself. As painful and hard as it is, it's a beautiful thing to be able to have a deeper relationship with your children like that. But maybe I'll talk about that more in another video. But thank you for watching. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. And I say this at the end of every video now, but I just really want you to take it to heart and think about it. That when I don't know who I am, I serve you. But when I know who I am you. Have a good day.